Throughout United States history, black scientists and inventors have made significant contributions, despite a society that often did not want black citizens to be educated at all. Benjamin Banneker, like many learned men in colonial America, was self-taught. He was a free black and educated himself in the areas of astronomy, surveying, and the science of the natural world. And all Americans have heard of George Washington Carver, who had a huge impact on the Southern economy with his research on peanuts. He was college educated, became a professor of agricultural chemistry, and pursued his agricultural research for his entire life. African American scholars can now be found in every scientific discipline, even some newer fields of study like oceanography and urban ecology. Dawn Wright, who is also known as Deep Sea Dawn, is a geologist and oceanographer. She uses geographic information systems to map the ocean floor and has worked on research ships all over the world.
My research is focused on mapping and exploring the ocean floor. That's what basic science is all about. It's just understanding, exploring it because it's there and because we want to know as much about our planet as possible. There are very few women in oceanography or in the physical sciences. I've always been the only black person in my academic programs, and so you have to be very sure and confident in yourself. People need the role models they want to see. They want you to come speak to their group. They want you to inspire here and there. And so it's a high calling, but for me, I just love it.
As a boy, Professor Hayes became fascinated by frogs. Much of his research is focused on frogs and how they are harmed by chemicals that people put into the environment.
I like solving the puzzle. I like the CSI. I also like frogs, and so I also feel a real drive to help understand how pesticides and other chemicals are affecting amphibian populations. It might look like we're out in the bush somewhere, but 15 feet on either side, we're surrounded by agriculture, and the runoff ends up in this river. All of the algae is a result of all the nutrients, because a lot of fertilizers are used in agriculture. And once those fertilizers get into the water, you get these blooms of algae. I wouldn't say it's a sign of a healthy river. This is a site where we typically find compromised immune systems, tadpoles that aren't able to fight off disease.
Ashanti Johnson Pirtle is an oceanographer and is currently studying how radioactive materials move in aquatic environments. She also researches those materials that are found underwater and attached to clay particles in sediment.
My name is Ashanti Johnson, and I have a PhD in oceanography, and I've done a variety of things, including being a professor and now working for the Institute of Broad Participation, furthering underrepresented participation within STEM fields. Well, I became interested in the oceans when I was in 3rd grade. I had a class where the teacher assigned us an independent study project, and so I did a project on dolphins. And from that point on, I did a project every year in the Townsend Gifted programs up through 12th grade in high school, targeted on some aspect of the ocean. I volunteered. I was actually the first student volunteer at the aquarium in Dallas, and I continued to work towards that goal, and did my undergrad in marine science and went on to get a PhD in oceanography. So from a very young age, as a result of watching Jacques Cousteau, then I knew I was going to be working in the oceans. I have a couple projects where I focus on helping underrepresented groups achieve their goals of getting undergrad, grad, and PhD degrees within Earth System Sciences.
Professor Stuart Pickett is a plant biologist and urban ecologist. He studies urban ecosystems and is interested in how plants live in different city landscapes and how the plant communities change over time.
Hi, I'm Stuart Pickett, and I'm a plant ecologist at the Carey Institute, and I work on urban ecology and landscape ecology, and I'm really happy to be here at the camp today because I understand that you all might have some questions for me. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Who's got a question? Oh, you know what? I'm going to take the easy way and hand the microphone to the closest person.
Okay, what inspired you to be a scientist?
I wanted to be a scientist from a very young age, maybe just a little bit older than you all are. And it was something maybe like this, the opportunity to be out in the woods at Boy Scout camp. My father ran the Boy Scout camps in Louisville, Kentucky. And so I got to go out with him and just not do the regular Boy Scout things all the time. Sometimes I could just wander around the woods and collect salamanders and collect leaves, and I thought, this is really fun. I really liked it. And then I discovered that there was a profession that would allow me to wander around the woods and collect things and think about things and figure out what was going on, and it was called ecology. And I said, I want to be that. So that's what inspired me.
We have people in the various governments come to us and say, we're worried about this, we're concerned about this, can you help us sort this out?
What does the average ecologist look like? Well, not like me, I'm not the typical ecologist. But the face of ecology is changing.
One of the ways that I'm really happy with our evolution is how our questions have evolved. We started out with very basic questions because urban areas in the United States were essentially an unexplored ecological frontier.
These are just a few of the men and women of African descent who work as researchers, academics, and visionaries. Like all environmental scientists, they study our world, not just to learn more about it, but to improve life for people and other living organisms.